I want to make $1 million.
And I have to respond to that, and I have to say, then what?
I have a dream, that's all I need. I'll make it happen with some work and belief.
Welcome back to Crosswinds Pilot, where we help you to implement your vision. And we do that by clarifying your purpose, constructing your reality, and making sure that we complete with results that you deserve. Now, this is part 2 of a 3-part series where we discuss the fact that some of us may spend more time and more care on planning our careers than actually planning our lives. And of course, we want to avoid that, and we do that by asking a simple question. That question is, what if my life was a business? If you have not watched part 1 of this series, then I link it in the description below. Also, this video is part of a 3-episode playlist so that you have everything in one place. And if you subscribe to this channel and also if you hit the notification bell, you will miss nothing in the future. So for everyone who has already watched part 1, let's get into the video for today. So maybe you have determined what your mission is, maybe you have set your goals, and also you have determined what the best strategy for you personally is to achieve those goals. And then we come to the exciting topic of finances. It's quite interesting. If you haven't spent much time planning your life, I noticed that people typically fall into one of 3 categories. Number 1 are those people who say, I just want to earn a little bit more money. I just want to make sure that I earn more as I grow older. Now, the problem with this approach is that it's just not very specific, and also it becomes very irrelevant for the future. Let me explain why. So, say you get exactly what you asked for, and over the next 30 years, every single year, you get a pay increase. And it increases by, let's assume, 3%. So, if you start off with $50,000 or pounds or euros, at the end of those 30 years, you will earn 120,000 pounds or dollars or euros. And that doesn't sound bad at all. Now, if we account for inflation, the story looks a little bit different. Suddenly, your 120,000 pounds in today's terms is only worth 68,000 pounds. So that's not much more than you earn today. But it also means that you only account for the expenses that are in your plan today. So if you want to develop something or have a slightly different lifestyle, that sum, that amount of money becomes quite irrelevant to you. Number 2 is my personal favorite. People say to you, I want to make $1 million. And I have to respond to that, and I have to say, then what? The problem with that approach is that it lacks any sort of purpose. So if you have $1 million and you decide you want to spend $6,000 every month, well, then your money lasts about 17 years. If you can decide that you can live very comfortably on £3,000 a month, well, actually, you can now live indefinitely. And let's get to number 3. It's those people who say, I just want to save enough so that I can live comfortably in my retirement. And the problem I have with that approach is that I would ask myself, what does that even mean? What does it mean to live comfortably? When do you supposed to be retired, or do you maybe plan not to retire at all? I personally don't believe in retirement as such because I just enjoy what I do. But I do acknowledge that at some stage, because of age, there are certain things I can no longer do. Like, for example, I do fly airplanes, but after my 65th birthday, I'm not legally allowed to fly for an airline anymore. So that'll change my income patterns. But I do have other things that I enjoy doing and that have income streams for me as well. So I personally don't plan to retire, but I still have to plan for the fact that maybe my income and my life and everything around it looks a little bit different. The other problem I have with that is that you are saying, I want to save enough to have a comfortable life at my retirement. And I ask, well, what about all the time in between? Are you telling me that you want to live a miserable life until you are retired? Probably not. And so, again, it lacks something that is required if you plan finances for the life that you wish to live. So if all of these things do not give us a great answer, why don't we go back to our original question? What if my life was a business? And in this context, how do businesses actually create a financial plan? Now I will simplify this, of course, a little bit for this video, but in essence there are 4 building blocks that are part of a financial plan. On a very basic level, at first we look at the total cost of doing business, so that's regular expenses. Second comes, how do we pay, how do we retain our employees? And there's actually quite a bit of studies around it, and the more you love what you do, the less important the pay ultimately is, but it will play a role. And so businesses have to consider how much money do we want to spend on our employees. The third part is, what do our shareholders expect of this company? So if it's a publicly traded company, or maybe there are private shareholders and directors in the company, then they of course want to have some sort of return for their investment as well. And number 4 is any sort of money that helps the company to grow. So it's capital for future investments. Right, so let's bring those 4 aspects into our personal lives. And number 1 again is part of the easiest one. It's the cost of doing business. So in a personal context, that's just your normal monthly or quarterly or annual expenses. So you think about your mortgage or your rent or your car payments or your grocery shopping. And the fact is, if you don't know exactly today where your money goes, you have a problem. I don't know a single company that doesn't know exactly where every single penny, where every single cent of their money goes. And you should have that for your personal life as well. There are plenty of good apps and solutions around that you can use, and you could start just with a simple spreadsheet. You could go through your bank statements and bank accounts every single month, or maybe you use an app that is issued by your bank and that helps you in categorizing and recording all your expenses. But whatever path you choose, make sure that you have a very clear understanding where every single penny, where every single dollar, or where every single euro goes from your personal accounts as well. So then we come to the second building block of our pyramid, which was around paying the employees. And of course, in the context of a business plan for your life, this is you. So here I'm not talking about the monthly bills and the rent payments and the mortgages and all of that. Here we are talking purely about you. What happens after you have paid your bills? So this is the area where you can actually wish and where you can dream. And we talk about your aspirations. And a way to do it is you make 2 lists. On the one list, put everything down that you want to have in your happy place. So let's say you have paid all your bills, etc. What makes you happy? How much money do you want to spend maybe on electronic gadgets like your phone? Or how much money do you want to spend on travel? How much money do you want to spend? Maybe you like going on dates, you maybe like going to fancy restaurants. And you put all of these things down in your happy place. On list number 2, you put all the things out there that belong into your dream life. So how often maybe do you want to go away in your dream world? Where do you want to go on a constant basis during the months? Is there restaurants? Is there a specific charity that you want to give to? All of these things that happen in your dream world, you put those things out there as well. Got it? Good. Now at least we have a clear understanding of how much money your business plan needs, because we've looked at the recurring expenses. We've looked at how much money maybe we need for your happy place. And we also have a long-term aspiration of what you want to achieve in your dream life. Now we have to get to building block number 3, which are the shareholders. And you think, well, Kai, come on, there's no shareholders in my life. Well, there kind of are, because maybe there are your parents and you want to do something good for them. Or you have children, you have a partner, you have friends, you have a charity, you have something you wish to give back to society. Whatever it is, those are the shareholders in your life. And finally, at the top of the pyramid, you have the expenses that belong to the future growth of the company. And if we take that into our personal life, that's around maybe our pension planning or our retirement. What would your balance be in the future? Would you have to save up a little bit to cover some of the expenses? And if you are like most people, the answer is likely to be yes. Because even though your expenses may be a little bit lower, your income probably will be as well. So we have to save up for it. Now it goes a little bit too far for the purpose of this video to go into all the intricate details of pension planning. Also, this isn't a financial advice channel, this is more for education and entertainment purposes. But nevertheless, if you like to hear a little bit more about pension planning, leave me a comment below. I'll make sure I read and respond to every one of it. And if there is big demand for a video on this, then I will make sure that I will do that in one of the next videos as well. So all of this sounds like a lot of work. You have to go through your expenses, you have to have a good understanding of what everything costs that you want to invest in yourself and the people around you and into your future. And that sounds like a lot of work. But then our aspiration was to actually create a plan with more care and more professionalism than planning your career. But there's one thing that I can guarantee you. If you put in the effort once and just for once put all these numbers down on a piece of paper, it will feel good. And it feels good because it will give you a peace of mind. It will give you an idea of what do you actually need for your perfect life. Maybe you notice that your dreams and aspirations are far beyond of what's currently possible with your salary. Maybe you even notice that your current profession will not allow you to reach those dreams and aspirations. Well, that's good. Then you know you have to make a change. You know that you have to make a plan. But equally, you may notice that in a lot of instances you are already in your happy place. You may notice that even your dream life isn't as far off as you think. And suddenly all the stress of always wanting more and not knowing how much you actually need is unjustified, and you can live a far happier and far more content life. Before we talk about where we go next, if you like this kind of video, please give us a thumbs up, hit the like button, and also if you like the food for thought, consider subscribing to the channel so you won't miss anything. Now that we've covered 2 parts of it and also have a proper financial business plan, there is only one thing left, which is putting everything into practice. And part 3 will deal with that. We'll share some tips and tricks that I learned along the way. So I look forward to seeing you in that video. But in the meantime, check out some of the other content that is available on Crosswinds Pilot that may be relevant to you too. In the meantime, have a wonderful week ahead. I will see you very soon.